I just left the courtroom for the bond hearing for my son for the least for the third time. This time it was very fair. The judge was very fair. He wasn't pro-prosecutor, he wasn't pro-defense, but he was pro-justice.
We want to begin now with some breaking news. Rapper Lil Durk.
Brace yourself, because whatever calm you thought existed in the rap universe just got bulldozed. A judge has allegedly dropped the most radioactive bomb of the year. Lil Durk's official release date has been exposed, and the shock hit harder than a Super Bowl halftime plot twist. This isn't a rumor, a whisper, or a fan theory scribbled on Reddit. It looks like a real courtroom leak, stamped with authority. And the internet reacted like someone just stole the keys to hip-hop's nuclear vault. Timelines froze. Blogs detonated. Rappers went silent.
Diddy did. He's basically saying all this evidence y'all got against Durk got nothing to do with me. Why you got me charged with Durk? And that doesn't mean he's going against Durk. That just means he wants his case severed. And I'm telling you, if it's severed, it helps Durk. Because one of the main connective tissue to this conspiracy is saying that Durk told Diddy to hire. Diddy's saying, I ain't get told to hire nobody, and I ain't hiring nobody. What are you talking about? Why would I hire someone? That's his thing.
Screenshots of the court-confirmed date spread like illegally printed money. Circled in red as if the world just discovered buried treasure. The document didn't say much, but it said enough. And what it suggested made every artist currently planning a drop look like they're standing on crumbling scaffolding. Because once Durk steps out, the entire release calendar becomes a wasteland. People are already panicking. Fans are counting down like they're awaiting a comet strike. Critics are refreshing pages like casino gamblers. And the industry. They're praying that revelation was fake. Because if that date stands, then history's about to shift, charts are about to fold, and the streets are preparing for an arrival that might just shake the foundation of rap itself. The fuse is lit. Let's talk about what just got exposed. The internet had been whispering for weeks that something big was bubbling under Lil Durk's silence. But nobody could have predicted the way the truth would drop. One blurry courtroom document, allegedly stamped with real judicial ink, hit timelines like a boulder through stained glass. The image showed dates, codes, and what looked like a formal release authorization set to the side as casually as an attendance sheet. Fans zoomed, cropped, overexposed, and studied every pixel the way conspiracy theorists examine UFO footage. And when the circled date was spotted near the bottom, chaos went nuclear. Screenshots spread faster than Black Friday coupons. Twitter feeds drowned in red circles, arrows, magnified stamps, and captions that read "It's real." Fans compared fonts, analyzed margins, and even debated the pen thickness used in the signature line. Some called it the biggest blunder in court confidentiality since sealed evidence ended up on a projector screen. Others swore someone intentionally leaked it from inside the building, burning their career to feed the streets a once-in-a-lifetime scoop. Whatever the source, the message was unavoidable. Lil Durk had an official drop date, and the world wasn't ready. His silence made the reveal hit even harder. No cryptic emojis. No mysterious countdown posts. No half-spoken interview hints. Just absence so loud it became evidence. Fans replayed old clips, searching for Easter eggs they missed. They dug up live streams, locked in studio hours, and paparazzi footage of Durk stepping out of black SUVs. Suddenly, every tiny second of footage became valuable data. If he blinked twice while walking to his car, people called it a clue. If he wore neutral tones, fans swore it was coded confirmation that a new era was loading. Comment sections turned into open courtrooms. Armchair attorneys debated whether the document was legitimate, citing spacing, seal placement, and wording as if they'd earned law degrees overnight. Meme crafters mocked the chaos by editing Durk in a judge's robe, slamming a gavel labeled drop date, approved. Others posted objection, overruled merch designs before the dust even settled. The entire culture slipped into madness because at the center of it all was the possibility that the judicial system, of all institutions, had accidentally or intentionally exposed one of rap's most anticipated moments. Music blogs wasted no time throwing gasoline on the fire. Headlines read like red sirened emergency bulletins. Some articles claimed insiders confirmed Durk's tape was delayed multiple times due to legal stamp clearance, making the leak feel like the final green light at the end of a chaotic tunnel. Others suggested the court involvement meant something bigger: hidden samples, cleared features, classified negotiations, or record label peace treaties that required signatures instead of sound checks. Nobody knew the truth, but the rumor tasted cinematic. Enough for everyone to eat it up without hesitation. Fans focused on one detail above all: the date. That low number caused more adrenaline than any of Durk's past teasers combined. It was specific, final, and official looking. People plugged it into calculators, like prophecy, mapping astrological alignments, and numerology breakdowns. Some joked that if you spell the date backwards, it predicted a world reset. Others swore that drop day matched the anniversary of Durk's earliest breakthrough moment, making the reveal feel poetic and pre-planned. Whether coincidence or cosmic syncing, the date quickly became hip-hop's most monitored TIM. Of course, skeptics came crawling out too. They called it Photoshop sorcery, fanfiction made to go viral, or an old court template someone repurposed for clout. But skepticism couldn't compete with obsession, because every time someone tried to debunk the leak, a new screenshot popped up with higher resolution, clearer edges, and more angles. By the end of the night, 3 versions of the same document were circulating with various zoom levels, including one where the signature looked painfully authentic. The streets didn't need CNN verification. They needed a reason to lose their minds, and this was enough. The first celebrity reactions didn't help calm the frenzy. One rapper tweeted a single clock emoji. Another posted an hourglass. Those tiny, ironic symbols lit the match. Fans interpreted them as industry acknowledgement, proof that people behind the curtain knew the leak wasn't a drill. Producers posted cryptic quotes about time alignment and big energy returning. If someone typed soon, the internet acted like they'd sworn under oath. It didn't matter whether they meant Durk. The timing alone made everything suspicious. Meanwhile, loyal fans took the leak personally. They mobilized like activists, assembling threads with receipts, archived court records, font comparisons, and speculated legal timelines. They drew diagrams like crime scene maps explaining why the leak most likely came from an internal network rather than public access. One popular theory claimed a maintenance employee found a printout near Tusred bin and snapped a photo before throwing it out. Another said a clerk copied documents for official review and accidentally uploaded a scan into the wrong shared folder. The wilder the theory, the more people shared it. Some speculated deeper. They said the judge's involvement meant Durk negotiated something privately, a release that required contractual closure, resolved disputes, or finalized rights to features bigger than anyone expected. They imagined late-night paperwork, quiet settlements, or secret sign-offs handled behind courtroom doors. Because if you're going to drop an album that shakes the culture, why not stamp it with legal ink? It sounded poetic and dramatic enough for fans to treat it as fact. The courts themselves unintentionally added fuel. Nobody publicly denied the authenticity. No spokesperson stepped forward. No paperwork clarification arrived. The vacuum became its own answer. Official silence on anything this viral always sparks the same reaction: belief. And once belief sets in, fact doesn't matter. The screenshot had already cemented itself as modern scripture. Durk was coming, and the calendar was the gospel. Suddenly, the stakes skyrocketed. Artists from every tier began side-eyeing the date like it was an asteroid heading straight for their release plans. Some started tweeting date changing soon or shift incoming without offering explanation. Fans mocked the panic, saying half the industry dove into hiding the moment the leak gained traction. It wasn't paranoia, it was survival. Because when someone with Durk's momentum confirms a release, the charts become a battlefield. Everyone else becomes collateral. Even record labels were rumored to be adjusting schedules. A handful of insiders claimed that producers were told not to upload certain singles around the exposed date. Marketing directors allegedly pushed campaigns up or back by 2 weeks. And suddenly, release charts for that month started looking suspiciously empty. Audiences didn't need leaked emails to connect the dots. The fear was visible in gaps, as the document continued to ricochet through timelines. Fans zoomed in, searching for any hint of album content. Names of potential features, studio dates, file codes, all became puzzles to crack. Someone claimed the initials scribbled near the bottom belonged to a producer known for elite sound engineering. Others saw abbreviations that might indicate a secret collab. Accuracy didn't matter. The speculation fed the myth like gasoline on a fire. For older fans who remembered Durk's rise, the leak felt poetic. They said it symbolized triumph. That a man who once fought for a voice was now dictating date codes via judicial ink. Whether dramatic exaggeration or poetic delusion, it was the kind of narrative that hip-hop loves, the hero arc dressed as legal paperwork. The fact that it might be real made it all the more intoxicating. And through all of it, Durk himself didn't blink. No rant, no denial. No fake humble acknowledgement. Just head-down energy, letting the noise evolve on its own. The silence felt cold, calculated, and confident, like someone loading ammunition without speaking, for a fanbase starving for shockwaves. That quiet confidence was louder than sirens. The leaked release date wasn't just a time stamp, it became prophecy. Each repost felt like an omen, every debate like ritual. Hip-hop didn't want clarity. Clarity kills mystique. Clarity kills mystique. This leak breathed life into the hunger, replacing every dull headline with countdown hype. Whether authentic or theatrical, it created a digital earthquake that nobody could ignore. Because once a judge allegedly exposes a clock on Lil Durk's next arrival, the rap world doesn't sit still. It feels the tremor, checks their calendars, and waits for the sonic storm crawling closer by the second. Once the leak fully took over the internet, the entire conversation around hip-hop shifted from music to urgency. Rappers started behaving like the release date was a meteor in the sky and they were deciding whether to duck or prey. Some posted subtle warnings about real competition returning. Others dropped prayer hand emojis like they were lighting digital candles before the prophecy arrived. It wasn't fear in the usual sense. It was the kind that sits in your chest and tells you the environment just changed. Whether you're ready for it or not. Reaction pages capitalized instantly. Streamers replayed the alleged court document as if it were historical evidence rather than a screenshot. Posted by a sleep-deprived fan at 3 a.m., they narrated every line, circled every smudge, and argued over whether the angle of the paper meant it was secretly snapped from a bench seat beside the witness box. Commentators claimed the still images felt too official to be fake. Even the micro-creasing on the page became forensic proof that someone had held it and risked everything just to leak it. And then came the rappers who took the leak personally. One unsubtly announced they were reshaping the calendar. Another said, "Sometimes kings need space," which everyone translated as, "I'm getting out of Durk's way before he eats the whole month alive." A few tried to pretend calm, posting normal selfies, luxury shots, or studio pics. But fans weren't fooled. They filled those comments with ticking clock emojis, reminding everyone exactly what time it was. memes hit peak velocity. Screenshots of the judge's signature were pasted onto courtroom scenes from movies. Edits reimagined Lil Durk as a Supreme Court figure holding an album like evidence. Another viral meme featured a rapper clutching shredded paperwork with the caption, "When you had a release date and Durk dropped his, the comedy was ruthless." But it came with a truth nobody denied once the alleged official date surfaced. It became the gravitational center of the entire rap calendar. Theories evolved into full-blown digital archaeology. People combed through interviews, searching for hints Durk had tried to hide. They replayed clips where he laughed at questions, pointing to subtle jaw twitches as proof that he already knew. Others compared studio lighting and background furniture between dates, piecing together a timeline of secret recording sessions like amateur investigators mapping crime scenes. Combine that with murky legal whispers, and the conclusion felt unstoppable. Something big was ready to detonate. At the same time, skeptics didn't disappear, they multiplied. Some swore the leak was master-level marketing disguised as accident. They argued Durk intentionally let that document slip so he could dominate rollout conversations without lifting a finger. If true, it would make him the most strategic ghost promoter in rap history. Others believed the opposite, that someone sabotaged plans, forcing the industry to pivot before anyone was prepared. No matter which angle surfaced, the story stayed captivating. When the debate reached TikTok, things went from obsessive to operatic. Self-appointed experts produced breakdown videos showing how release dates align with fiscal quarters, claiming labels protect prime launch windows like national security. Others speculated Durk might have coordinated features buried under NDA, so tight even oxygen couldn't escape. Some said the project was part of a broader chess move to reclaim dominance after a quieter span. The imagination was wild, but the hype was real. Blogs published articles that sounded like official war bulletins. They tracked artist itineraries, budget allocations, sudden single delays, and mysterious cancellations. Every event that remotely lined up with a leaked date became suspicious. If a rapper skipped an interview that week, fans assumed they were overhauling their album plans. If someone switched producers, people called it preparation for impact. The leak didn't just spark talk, it rewired the logic of hip-hop watchers everywhere. Celebrities outside the rap world chimed in too, sharing random phrases that fans twisted into prophecies. A basketball star posted timing matters. A model wrote waves incoming. Even if they meant nothing, viewers clung to the phrases like encrypted gospel. The culture was addicted to narrative, and Durk's silence made every whisper sound like a siren. Artists rumored to be on the album only made things worse by looking nervous. One posted a picture in the studio at 4 a.m. with tired eyes, prompting comments that he was re-recording verses because the stakes rose. Another wiped old posts, fueling speculation about renegotiated features. The industry energy turned jittery, as if everyone suddenly understood that alignment with Durk at this moment required perfection or disappearance, and with every moment he remained quiet. Durk's legend sharpened. People said any artist can talk, tease, or brag, but only certain artists can rewrite the world by saying absolutely nothing. His stillness became intimidation. It made the leak feel intentional, even if it wasn't. It made the date feel carved in stone, even if the ink came from memes. Meanwhile, videos popped up of crowds reacting to the news outside concerts, screaming like somebody had announced extraterrestrial contact. Fans told each other they felt the shift in the air, like the leak had bent gravity, tilted energy, and cracked the fourth wall of rap culture. The date circled in red became the equivalent of a doomsday clock, ticking louder every time the topic resurfaced. Memes also targeted other rappers, roasting them for suddenly needing more time. One viral comment said, "Durk leaked his date, and the whole industry hit Control-Alt-Delete." Another joked that certain artists began writing apology letters to their fan bases. explaining why their albums mysteriously vanished from rollout schedules. Funny or not, the bite behind these jokes revealed the pressure of competing with a juggernaut. Insiders whispered that A&Rs began reorganizing promotional budgets, shifting focus away from anyone who planned to drop near the leaked time stamp. Meetings were allegedly held advising some artists to wait months instead of weeks. Suddenly, the entire season looked strategically barren around the circled date, as if the industry collectively sealed that window off and left it as a no-release zone. Even YouTube reactors swore they heard tension in the air. They posted vibe readings as if they were detecting tremors. Some claimed the leak meant Durk's sound was next phase level, something fierce enough to make competitors silent. Others said the move was psychological warfare, a warning that durability in hip-hop wasn't about flash, but about calculated timing fused with mystique, and just when the conversation risked dying down. New pieces of evidence appeared: a grainy recording of someone reading court filings, a close-up of initials that might be Durk's legal signature, even alleged hearing schedules that aligned too perfectly with the drop window. Whether any of it was real didn't matter. It all poured into the hysteria, strengthening the idea that the release wasn't just coming, it was sanctioned week after week. The leak kept its grip on rap culture. You could scroll anywhere: discussion threads, music pages, live stream chats, and that one red-circled date sat like a bomb under every conversation. Critics who once ignored conspiracy-style leaks now dissected them publicly. Rappers who once joked about Durk's quiet seasons suddenly avoided saying his name. And the industry realized something uncomfortable: the power of a release date. Rumor can choke the room more than an actual album, because the moment it surfaced, hip-hop quit thinking casually about album drops. It accepted that the day circled in red was more than prophecy. It was warning. Whoever else planned music around it was playing with fire. And for the culture watching, the only thing more addictive than sound itself was the suspense of knowing a storm was coming, and no one wanted to be standing unprepared when Durk stepped out. When the frenzy matured into obsession, the leak stopped feeling like a rumor and started existing as fact carved into rap culture. Fans adjusted their expectations. Artists adjusted their calendars. Even critics adjusted their language, speaking about the alleged release date as if it were part of published law. The document that once looked like a blurry screenshot became permanent mythology that shaped how people moved. Anyone brave enough to drop during that same window was accused of either foolish confidence or desperate sabotage of their own career as the countdown murmured across timelines. The weight of Durk's silence took on a different meaning. It wasn't passive anymore. It felt strategic. Every quiet day amplified anticipation like a slow-building earthquake that never lets you breathe. His refusal to confirm, deny, or react left the culture suspended between panic and prophecy. And that tension fueled the narrative harder than charts ever could. Nobody knew if the date was real, but they behaved like it was, and that's what made the moment historic. The most revealing shift happened when other rappers began adjusting posture, tone, and even output. People noticed sudden rebrands, reworks, repolished singles, and strengthened rollouts coming from artists who had been coasting months earlier. Some sharpened bars, teased edgier snippets, or posted studio clips showing late-night grind sessions that looked more like survival drills. If Durk was really coming, everyone else was training like they expected a rap hurricane to tear straight across the landscape. In parallel, fans started treating the leak like a spiritual countdown. Playlist slots were held open like reserved seating. Nobody wanted to get attached to new releases until the court-confirmed date passed. Even casual listeners caught themselves checking watches as if the document had hypnotized the entire culture. Streets began echoing one message: it's soon. Brace yourself. People didn't know what they were bracing for. They just knew a quake was coming. Industry decision-makers didn't escape the pressure either. Whispers claimed that some major labels froze project budgets until after the month circled in that document. Meetings allegedly included questions no board ever thought it would need to ask. Do we need to cancel something? Should we reroute promo? Some insiders even argued that dropping any superstar music near Durk's supposed launch would be professional malpractice. And whether those discussions were real or just whispered fantasy. The paranoia hinted at how much cultural weight Durk has accumulated. Meanwhile, conspiracy theorists intensified their hunt for secondary proof. They collected airport footage, claiming to see Durk traveling under tighter privacy. They dissected audio snippets with spectral analyzers, searching for sonic fingerprints matching rumored features. Some even tracked studio bookings, lining up dates to prove a correlation between recording sessions and the alleged judicial signature window. Whether grounded or ridiculous, each new receipt only deepened the mystery. The silence from Durk's camp wasn't just quiet, it was unbothered. That alone made people rethink the leak's meaning. If the date were fake, wouldn't someone have said so? If the document was fabricated, why not release a laugh, a denial, or a meme? Instead, the world got nothing. That nothing was lethal. Nothing told the public that Durk wasn't threatened by hype and that the leak was either true or useful. Either way, silence transformed him into the architect of suspense, and so the theories multiplied. Some said the leak proved he'd been planning something monumental, negotiating rights, arranging features, and finalizing sound long before anyone caught on. Others swore it meant the album was already recorded, mastered, packaged, and simply waiting on a legal clock to strike. A few even believed the court's involvement hinted at documentary-style rollouts. Contracts with film crews or high-level distribution deals that required airtight confidentiality. The more the culture speculated, the bigger Durk became. What truly cemented the leak as modern legend was how quickly people rewrote their future based on it. Rappers postponed albums. Fans delayed merch purchases. Some even swore they'd rearranged personal travel plans just to be glued to their phones on the rumored release day. That kind of gravitational pull doesn't form around weak artists. It comes from the type of presence that can shake environments without dropping a single bar. When the alleged date finally neared, the tension grew unbearable. Streams of discussion posts flooded every platform, titled "Tomorrow," "Next week," "Is it time?" Some compared the anticipation to waiting for locked evidence to be unsealed. Others treated it like the calm before a hurricane touches coast. Cities didn't prepare, but fan bases did. They ran imaginary countdown clocks, hosted live spaces, and replayed Durk's classics like war chants before battle. Then the clock ticked past midnight. On the rumored day, nothing happened. No drop, no announcement, no denial, just silence. A silence that somehow felt heavier than ever. Instead of disappointment, fans spiraled harder. They said the document must have been pointing to a new date not yet decoded. That legal timestamps allow for adjustments. That the leak was never meant to be word-for-word literal. But symbolic confirmation that Durk was simply closer than anyone knew. Others insisted the lack of a drop was the proof of strategy. That Durk didn't want the leak dictating his move. That, if anything, the moment was a power flex. The world rearranged around him without him lifting a finger. And whether you believe that spin or not, the truth remained. Nobody dared release anything loud that week. Whether by coincidence or intimidation, the industry treated the date like sacred ground. Artists who had teased releases during that period mysteriously went silent. Some dropped random fillers instead. Others shared coming soon captions without clarity. It was as if the entire calendar lost its courage. People noticed. They laughed. They mocked. But deep down, everyone recognized the truth. One screenshot had puppeteered the entire season. Weeks later, fans still referenced the leak. They called it a cultural moment. They treated the screenshot like relic scripture of hip-hop prophecy. Even when jokes flew, the tension stayed. Whenever Durk posted anything, a selfie, a studio shot, a lyric preview, comments surged back to the document. We're waiting, clock's still ticking. Don't think we forgot. Hip-hop collectively refused to let the leak fade, and when people finally stopped obsessing over the exact date, they shifted to a new fixation. What happens when he actually drops? Would it destroy charts? Rewrite sound? Shift competition? Would it spark bloodshed and release scheduling? No one cared that the document might have been misinterpreted. They cared that Durk's aura felt loaded with an album that could stomp its foot on the decade. That's the lasting, aftermath, psychological takeover. No project announcement, no snippet premiere. No teaser track has ever warped the industry this hard without even existing officially. A leak did what full rollouts struggle to do: hold the culture hostage and force it to anticipate every breath of an artist who said nothing. And the beauty of it, Durk still hasn't clarified. And because of that, every day becomes a countdown. Every post becomes potential code. Every month is viewed suspiciously, like the one that might bring the storm. And if hip-hop is being honest, it likes the mystery more than the drop itself, because the leak changed everything. It showed fans that silence is power. It reminded the industry that anticipation is currency. And it proved that Lil Durk doesn't need announcements, he needs presence. Once that courtroom document hit the spotlight, his presence expanded like shockwaves down. Now, the culture waits willingly for the moment the prophecy lands. And until it does, hip-hop will live under the shadow of that stamped date. Still replaying the memory of the moment, a single screenshot hijacked the entire industry and turned silence into dominance. Because whether the leak was real or misread, this much is undeniable: the rap world hasn't breathed normally since. And it won't again until Lil Durk finally steps forward and drops whatever the calendar tried to whisper first. So now that we've unraveled the courtroom chaos, decoded the signatures, zoomed every pixel, and watched the entire industry lose sleep over one circled date, it's your turn to bring the madness. Go smash that like button like it owes you bond money. Drop a comment with your wildest theories. Was that document legit? Did someone sabotage the rollout? Or did Durk mastermind the silence just to shake every other rapper off the calendar? Whatever you believe, I want the smoke, the spirals, the conspiracies, let them all spill out before you disappear into another comment thread dissecting timelines. Make sure you hit subscribe, because around here, the biggest leaks, the silent wars, and the explosive moments never slip by unnoticed. We break down every rumor that rattles the culture, every screenshot that sends shivers through the industry, and every moment that forces rap to hold its breath. If hip-hop moves, twitches, or even blinks, the rap truth sees it first. Turn on notifications too. Because when Durk finally drops, you don't want to wake up late to a cultural earthquake. Whether it's the real date, a change date, a new date, or a silent drop that catches everyone off guard, we'll be right here to dissect it, roast it, hype it, and archive it in the Museum of Unforgettable Moments. This is the rap truth, where silence is strategy. Leaks become legends, and every rumor has the potential to rewrite the game. Stay locked in and stay loud. Because if one leaked page could shake the industry this hard, imagine what happens when the music finally hits. What happens when the music finally hits?